You know, we usually talk about like the nuts and bolts of things, heads, pistons, theories, suspension, all that other stuff. But this, I believe, is probably the most significant video we've ever done, right? And it's because this is the power behind all of those parts. Because the parts in the cars mean absolutely nothing without the people to put them together. And it's not just people, because there's lots of different types of people, but there's only certain types of people that actually get things done. Lots of dreamers, lots of people who, you know, paint themselves in the corners, and there's people who actually get it done, right? So I'm going to tell you a story. So yesterday morning, about 10 o'clock, I'm about to pull out of the shop, and I'm on the phone, and I'm trying to line up a photo shoot, a video shoot, on a legit 69 Z28 cross ram deal, right? So while I'm doing that, a pickup truck pulls up next to me. I'm sitting in my Jeep, right, and I'm on the phone, and the pickup truck pulls up next to me. And I'm like, I need a visitor right now like I need a hole in the head, right? So I see his smiley face, and he's like, it's making a noise. Can you tell me what you think it is? I'm like, all right, sure, give me a minute. So I finish up on the phone. I get out. He fires it up, and it's just making a racket, right? You're something screwed here. He says, well, I'm halfway between Dallas and
Virginia.
And I'm at the 500-mile mark. I got 500 miles to go either way, right? He says, yeah, and now here's what's in my mind. Okay, I'm like, all right, what can I do for this guy to make him go away, right? So I'm like, all right, and I'm about to tell him, you know, just leave it here, you know what I mean? And I'll give you a ride to the bus station or to the airport, wherever you want to go. I'll give you a ride, right? But he's like, I have tools. All I need is parts. And I'm like, and I'm saying to myself, well, this thing is like internal. So he starts the engine again, right? So we can kind of determine what's at it, you know, what's going on with it. I pop the oil cap off, and you can actually see it sucked the #1 exhaust valve. Just, it's missing, right? The rocker's just laying there, the valve spring's flopped over. I says, bro, you know, this thing is done. I says, you got to put a head on this. He says, well, I just need parts. I says, all right. And now I'm saying to myself, this guy's got the right attitude, you know. I'm not just going to like blow him off, right? He's got the attitude. He is ready to throw it down. He's got the tools. All he needs is some parts. You're welcome to anything I have, right? And contrary to popular belief, I'm not sitting on a massive stash of Slant Six stuff. All my parts are basically involved in cars, and I've got a couple of random mods and then some cylinder heads laying around, and I had a complete short block. So we'll go long story short now. I hook him up with what I think he's going to need. Tell him he has a parts motor. I got a core motor laying there. I says, take it apart, do whatever you got to do, right? And and then I'm saying to myself, he's by himself. And where I'm leaving him to work on this thing is like inhuman. I have a couple of spots, right? So where I'm leaving him to work on this is inhuman. There's mosquitoes and everything's overgrown, and I can't leave him here to work on this. So I'm like, all right, we'll go back to my shop, and he can work on it at my shop. And then I'm like, but my shop is miles away from anything, any type of civilization, and I'm going to be occupied for the next couple of days. So like, this guy needs a hand lifting anything, or he's lost. He's got no food. He's got no transportation. He's got nothing. So with that, I says, I had to think quick, because again, I'm under the gun. I got a lot of ground to cover. So I think quick, and I says, Jim Bennett, let me call Jim, right? Because Jim is a doer. See, he's one of those people who actually does stuff. Like, you know, he doesn't just think about it or talk about it. Look at the shop. Turn around. Look at all the stuff that's in the shop. This is in how long? Since you started this? 5 months? Yeah. Okay. So he says, now Jim knows me enough to trust me. So if I say something is okay, he knows it's going to be okay, right? And vice versa. So I know, right? But close enough. So I call him up and I say, Jim, I got a guy here. He's 500 miles from home. His motor is pooched. If I can give him the parts, he's got his own tools, but he needs a place to actually work on this thing. I says, the guys are right. Jim says, tell him to come over. That's simple. Okay, now he's busy. This is his crew. These are all the cars he's working on. He's got stuff going on everywhere. But yet, because he took my word for this guy being okay, he cleared a space, brought him in, and now he's working on it. To make it even better than that, this morning, right? So I'll show you the pile of parts in a minute. determined that this thing needed more than just a head. It had put a hole in a piston, real mess out of things. So they went back to my old place. I said, go grab the short blocks. I said, I go back to go meet them there. They're already there. They've already lifted this thing up into the back of the truck. Jim brought his whole crew. He didn't just bring himself. He didn't just send the guy, here, take my truck and go get it. No, he brought the whole freaking crew. And you're not even part of the crew. You're just the guy who hangs out.
No, he's part.
He's part? Okay.
Big fun.
But yeah, he brings the whole crew, and there's the whole crew at my old place. This is a 45-minute trip from my shop. This shows you the kind of people that actually get stuff done. That's the difference between like dreamers and the people who scheme and the people who get like sidetracked and they can't get any help and they can't. This is the difference. These people are doers, right? So you want to bring everybody up to speed on this?
Yeah.
On the mechanical end of it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I bought this truck in Texas, I guess about 3 years ago, and drug it home and got it running, didn't do much to it. And then I wanted to go to the Lone Star Roundup with my buddy in Texas, and then they canceled it, so we decided, well, I'm just going to come down and work on cars with them. So I was going to go drive this thing down, and I convinced myself, well, it's ready. It'll make it. What could happen? But
Did you drive it like 15 miles?
yeah, no, I mean, I had 22 miles on it.
22 miles.
And I've done a lot to it in that time. I changed the transmission, did all. So I figured, I'll replace the brakes and the cooling system. So it doesn't need any shakedown run. It's good. And my dad, who's been a Chrysler mechanic his whole life, when he found out what I was going to do, he was like, "You sure you want to do it? What could happen?" So my dad is sitting at home in Virginia right now, 100% vindicated. But yeah, so I took off and it made it most of the way with no trouble at all, but middle of Tennessee, it started making a little noise, and it was getting 22 miles a gallon too. So it was, it's better than my modern truck. I could have brought something else, but this is more fun. But anyway, so it starts banging and making noise, and I thought, well, it's probably something simple, and it wasn't. But yeah, I was just really glad. I almost didn't call Tony. I was thinking, what can I do out here if it's more than a clutch or something like that? And but I wanted to get your opinion, and I realized, I'm close enough. Maybe I can just give him a call and he can just kind of give me some pointers, because I do this stuff a lot, but I'm not an expert. And yeah, so I got hold of Kathy, and she gave me his address to his shop, and I rolled out there, and before he could run away, he was caught.
And that's where I came in. So now, you talk about attitude, right? And people who get stuff done. So I want you to take note of this guy's face. You're 500 miles from home, right? Mm-hmm. You got basically no money, right?
Well, I got a credit card.
You got a credit card,
yeah.
But in other words, it's not like you're just flipping cash or anything.
Yeah, that's
like
right,
that,
yeah.
Everything in your life is still a question mark.
Yeah.
You still don't know if all of this stuff is going to go together. You still don't know if you're able to hit the road again. But look at his attitude. Okay, you see his attitude? Look at this mess. Come here, look at this.
We're having fun though.
Look, here's a short block I have laying around. Look at he rated my just pile of random stuff, and out of this he's going to create an engine.
There's a motor in there somewhere.
There's a motor in there someplace, and he's going to put it together. And these guys are all pitching in to help him out in between their regular jobs, doing all these fancy things, right? Crazy hot rod things. They're pitching in to help this guy out. They're all from a hole in the wall. This doesn't mean that you could just come knocking on my door or knocking on his door and say, "Please help me," because it don't work like that. No, you have to be that guy with that smile and that attitude that says, "I'm going to get this done," right? Hell, high water. When that happens, people like us, we make it happen. We help make it happen. But seriously, attitude is what it's all about. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
If you want to watch the actual drama that's unfolding over here, Jim Bennett's Hot Rod Garage. That's his channel. Go over there, subscribe, like, ring the bell, draw pictures of him, whatever it is that you're going to do. And you'll be able to follow, because he's got his cameraman over here. Do you ever get in front of the camera, or they just make you hide behind?
I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just film myself.
He films the whole channel with his phone over here. He follows everybody. I'm going to hit him with the phone eventually, because every time I walk in here, he's going to phone it. So at any rate, Jim Bennett's Hot Rod Garage. These are his guys. You can watch them work on this stuff every day. And if you want to follow the saga of this thing and how it's going to end up, you'll see it over the next couple of episodes.
Yeah, you probably see. Over the next couple episodes, we're hoping to get him driving out of here today.
That's some
You'll
hardcore
see
aspiration.
in our video.
I'll be back
Where-
in 10 days with another problem
Yeah.
on my way home.
Yeah.
I want to say that I can help, but I don't want to say I can help. I got all
But
this stuff to do.
it's, you know, Tony was good enough to give him the motor, and we went over to get it, and there's this Slant Six motor laying in the grass, and we're, okay. So it's gotta be honed, and we gotta do a few things to it
Yeah.
to get it in there, but it's a Chrysler Slant Six, so it's gonna run.
It'll work one way or
Yeah.
another.
We may have to get a couple of parts because he's got a different year motor than this one is, but we got all that covered. And we'll get started on it, and we'll start filming our part of it, and it's
So
gonna
that's
be
it.
fun.
There you go. Attitude is everything. See you tomorrow.